This video is a follow-up. It's a part 2. It is a video about the dreaded 30-minute limit recording time on many cameras. It's not a problem for a lot of people. Most individuals who get cameras, 30 minutes is a long time to hold the camera and shoot a video. Why is there a 30-minute limit? I guess in Europe there's a tax on professional cameras, video cameras. So they made a rule, anything that goes longer than 30 minutes gets an extra tax. That's why some cameras in the past had a European version and a US version. But most manufacturers didn't want to get into this hassle. Canon, Sony, a lot of the cameras. So they just had their cameras stop at 30 minutes to avoid the extra tax on the equipment. Sounds like a tax that needs to be fixed. So internally, the software, the camera is able to record more than 30 minutes. It's done for taxation purposes. Once you know that, then you talk about workarounds. Well, a simple workaround is to really keep track of how many minutes your video is. Some do a timer, they put their watch to 29 minutes, it beeps off so they know they got to go to the camera and restart it. If you're doing, say, podcast or a wedding or some other, you need to know that the camera stopped working if you're filming it. There's a couple of ways to work around that besides getting up and hitting start again. One is to get a camera monitor like the Ninja 5. Atomos Ninja 5 is a monitor that also has recording capability. So the HDMI cable comes out. I'll show it here what it looks like. You attach that to your camera and it records to an individual card. So you can keep going as long as you want. Even though the camera may no longer be recording, you may not even press record on your camera, and you can just use it for as long as you want. So that's one workaround. But for some cameras, that's almost like the cost of another camera. $500-600, a battery. You're suddenly $800. Now you might be able to find less expensive ones, but it's an expensive workaround, and suddenly your camera's not that portable anymore. The way that I found out is intervalometer. I'm going to show it here. I think it's called intervalometer. It's basically, you know how you used to plug in your camera and you would have a button for bulb? You could trigger the shutter button to turn on your camera, have a timer delay, have some external things that you could do separate. Well, nowadays they make wireless units that you can have timer, you can do interval pictures, you can do all those things. Well, what somebody figured out is you take one of these, you put it on interval, and you set your camera to have that when you press the button on this, it presses the shutter button, which starts the recording. So you set your camera to the shutter button is the recording button. And then I really struggle, though. How do they still do this? Because there's no turn off. It's just click the shutter button frequency, like every 10 seconds, every 30 seconds. Say you want to take a time lapse. You could set it, takes a time lapse, photos. But video, how does that work? Well, it works pretty easy. You set the shutter like a time lapse, but you do it to 30 minutes, 4 seconds. So get it. You trigger it, This is recording the time. Your camera's running and recording the time. So if you have a 30-minute limit, the camera shuts off at 30 minutes. 4 seconds later, this thing triggers it back on. And you can do that numerous times. So you don't have to trigger the button again. You could set it with like 4 times and have a 2-hour recording, never touching the camera. The only limitation is, do you have a card big enough to hold all the data that's coming in? And do you have like a dummy battery to keep the camera running nonstop? So I got this wireless transmitter, but I didn't get it for this purpose. I got this wireless transmitter to take photos from a distance or trigger the camera to start. This is a neat little thing. This is the, I'm going to butcher the names, Adalin WTR-2 transmitter, and then you have the WTR2 receiver. But you can buy these units that just have a cable and plug in and trigger it and attach it, Velcro it to your camera. Or you can get one of these wireless that this sits on a hut shoe and it works. So that's a number of ways to get around the time limitations. But I would prefer all you people that live in Europe that have this crazy tax thing that's wrecking the time limit, change the tax policy. Who cares if it's professional or amateur? There's no need to tax cameras. Or make it a dollar amount. Make it cameras over $10,000. If that's what you want to get. Because today, $600 cameras can run longer than 30 minutes, and there's no need for a time limitation. That's my video. That's the follow-up. How to get around the 30-minute time limit on your camera. This is a way. You just need one of these. And these units are inexpensive, $60. I will do links down below to what I purchased. This has great reviews. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.